Could you please go over legal documents required for the Series 7, like the ones used to provide essential information about securities? Well, I can knock out a couple of these. When Congress passed 33, the Prospectus or Paper Act, in fact, sometimes you can get that right by just covering up the screen. Are they asking about paper? Prospectus is 33. Are they asking about people and places? 34. And they said your own government wouldn't rip you off. So what that means is the U.S. government is allowed to sell brand new securities to the public without making a registration statement, without giving somebody a prospectus. Well, then Muni said, well, if you don't have to, we don't have to. And so we, as broker dealers, bankers, public finance, say, hey, listen, more often than not, since 1933, when I've gone to sell a brand new security to the public, they have grown accustomed to saying, can you send me something? And that something has been a prospectus. And so it'd be very helpful if I had something prospectus-like to send them. And so test question number one, the official statement is the prospectus-like document when selling muni bonds. Prospectus. The prospectus is when you're selling brand new securities to the public. And when you're selling brand new securities to the public, you do a registration statement. You enter into the cooling off period. During that quiet time or cooling off period, you can send people preliminary prospectuses, known as red herring, which contains most of the information except the final offering price. Now, there are safe harbors. So the SEC says, Dean, did you sell brand new securities to the public without, providing a prospectus, without making a registration statement? I say yes. I used an exempt transaction. I used a Reg D. So in a Reg D, Brian says, Dean, do you have any kind of a disclosure document for me? I say, yes, I have a private placement memorandum, a PPM. I used to get really, Theo, upset because I was working on a private placement for this winery, and they kept referring to it as a prospectus. And they go, Dean, why do you get so worked up about that? I go, because it's not a prospectus. Prospectus would mean we're making a public offering. We're not. Please don't call that a prospectus. It's a private placement memorandum, and we should only be giving that to accredited investors, or if we're using 506B, up to 35 non-accredited investors. Offering memorandums are, again, a disclosure document, maybe used in a Reg A offering, for example. I would add to your list, Theo, to make sure you know other documents, not legal documents. Well, this is a legal document. I would add to your list the trust indenture, which is the contract between the issuer and the trustee for the benefit of the bondholders. I would know that one. I would know things like the legal opinion done by a bond counsel, qualified versus unqualified, and qualified would be bad. Without unqualified is good without reservation. Anything you want to add to that, Brian? I keep getting to make videos on this. I don't think it's worthy. Well, I shouldn't say worthy. There's not enough there, I think, to support a lecture or a video on legal documents.
That's right. And again, this is one of those things where I would prefer to introduce them and explain them within their own context.
I'm with you. Totally with you. Totally.
Right. So we talk about official statements when we talk about munis. We talk about practices when we talk about new issues. Right. PPMs, I don't even call them that. I don't even think you'll ever see that. Right. It would be an abbreviated disclosure for private placements. Offering memorandum. I see some of those terms. I wouldn't.
I don't think it's the offering memorandum, but I do think that the point about private is we're not making a public distribution. In a private placement Reg D, it's an investment by invitation only. So I'm telling the SEC I didn't make a public distribution, right? So Rule 147, interstate offering, I'd still be using a prospectus because I'm selling it to the public. Yeah, I think it's testable. I mean, it is testable. Just like we said, we think you should attack it in the context of the subject rather than as a bucket you're putting legal documents into. I don't think that's a bucket as much as where it should be in that bucket of the investment itself.